So I'm calling the meeting to order for the Underhill Energy Committee. We are going to need a note taker for this meeting. Anybody want to step up and do that?
I'm happy to do it. It will take me a while to find the, do you mind if I just do it like old fashioned on notes?
No,
That's
whatever works for
All
you.
right.
I did put it up in Google as before, but we don't have to use that. That's just very convenient.
I just
But
don't want to hold up the meeting. I know that's going to take me a while to figure out how to find that. So,
oh, that's fine. John will
yeah.
be our note taker for tonight.
All right.
The other thing to get the meeting underway was some adjustments to the agenda. I have three adjustments that I would like to make. Let's see. One, Robbie asked for some time for MERP. He asked for that. Unfortunately, I had already submitted the agenda, so I didn't put it on per se. But I would like to add that under our program activities. Lori has mentioned some changes she was thought might be helpful with respect to making notifications and stuff like that work. Once she gets here, if she could address them, I don't fully understand it, so I'm not even going to try to say, but I'd like to add that to the agenda so she could mention how that might, what that is and how it might work and how we could get that to work. And then the only other thing is Graham seemed to indicate that he was going to have to leave early, but so far, I don't know for sure, but he may have already left. But he had an item with respect to the farmer's market that he was going to look into. So I thought I'd just take that a little bit out of order when he is here so he can go whenever he needs to, if that's acceptable to people. Does that sound all right?
Works for me.
Yep.
I request unanimous consent or whatever it is we do for stuff like that. So, okay. So those are the adjustments. Next item at 5:41, public comment period. The public, as usual, has more or less stayed away in droves. So we will not be hearing from them again tonight. So we will forego the public comment period. Moving on to the next item. Well, I'm sorry.
Michael, whoa.
Jerry.
I've got two items. The generator for the
Yes.
town garage is in place and wired up. Is waiting for the gas connection. And we're supposed
Okay.
to start on the generator for the town offices tomorrow.
Okay. Did you want to add that, or is that what you wanted to say?
That's all I want to say.
Okay. So were those two items or one?
Whatever you want.
Well, the question is, you said you had two items. I wanted to make sure we weren't forgetting one.
Well, it's the garage and the town hall.
Okay, those are the two you wanted to mention. I wasn't sure whether the garage and the town hall generator is one or whatever. Never mind. Thank you. Thanks for the update. That said, now moving on to the next item, I guess 5:42 says right here on my machine. Review and approve the minutes from June 18th. Those have been posted. Robbie took them and I just put them up in more or less the way he did it. But on our Google page, I didn't quite follow the format precisely for that. But anyway, they're there. I don't know whether anyone has had a chance to review. I would entertain a motion to accept those minutes.
I move to approve the minutes.
A second.
Second? Great. Thanks. Any discussion? Any changes or modifications or updates? Hearing none. Thank you, Robbie, for doing a great job. The minutes, oh, we've got to vote on it, don't we? Okay. All in favor of accepting the minutes as posted, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion is unanimous. We have accepted the minutes as posted last week. And thanks, Robbie, for doing that. Okay, next item, some program updates. I guess we got 5:43. We're moving right along, stepping right out. Okay, the first item there, and if Graham comes, I'd like to sort of move his item up, and so we'd be able to get his any information on that. But Failing that, I'll keep following this piece until we run into the end. The first item on that I listed for this was the community solar and renewables, and I was going to report on that. My job was to talk to Steve. I did talk to Steve. We had a very useful and lively conversation about all this. He thinks that we still have a possibility of coming in with the larger solar farm idea, a higher capacity piece. He said there were possibly two vendors who would still be interested. I guess one had dropped out as just way too small for whatever they're doing these days. He did not remember which two those were. He said he would continue to follow up with us on that and try to find out who those were. Now, he suggested, and I think it's probably a good idea, that we might want to identify the specific landowners who would be in a position to host a larger installation, probably, I don't know, a 1+ megawatt installation would be my guess for what we'd be talking about at this point if the 150 is considered too small. My guess is they don't want to stop at, they don't want to go to 200. So they'd be looking for something considerably larger. My take is if 150 takes between, like an acre, between an acre and I guess the Peachum one is a half an acre. Then to be talking about a megawatt, we'd be talking about what times one the 150 would be on the order of say 5, 6 times, 7 times that large. So we'd be talking about a 10-acre piece, plus or minus, that we would be looking at, I think, to do anything with on this. No. So Steve's suggestion was to identify who these landowners are and reach out to them specifically, offering to hold a meeting with vendors and or hook them up with vendors. The other piece, I believe he's talked to some folks over at Chamberlain's. They are not currently interested in going solar, but I believe that they are under the impression that going solar for them would mean dropping farming, and they don't want to do that. So the question about whether or not we should go to an agrivoltaic or not is open, and whether we should fold this into what we're trying to do. So it sounded like there is still a substantial possibility for making this program work. I guess my take would be that the best approach at this point would be to convene our solar group again and define the tasks and figure out who can do those tasks. I guess the solar group would consist of Ravi and me and Graham. Steve has been so willing to be part of it. I also heard from Peter Bennett, who expressed an interest in participating in that. Said he's got some thoughts and ideas, and given his experience with bringing Green Lantern online, I think that could only help us. So I think that I would like to obviously loop him into the conversation as well. So I guess I'd open this up for any discussion or thoughts, please.
Yep. I have a couple questions, I guess. The first is, and sorry if this has been discussed at length and I missed it, but so if you're contacting a landowner for this sort of thing, what would be the benefit to the landowner? What would be the selling point, I guess, for that person? If any one of us is just talking to someone randomly and say, hey, this is why you should do this.
They get paid to do it.
Yeah. Okay.
They get paid to host it.
Okay.
They get a steady stream of income for watching the sunshine.
Right. Okay. And the second question is, when you mentioned Chamberlain's, the first thing I thought of is whether, let's say we went, maybe it won't happen, right? But if we went down that road, whether we would run into some sort of conservation commission type of a thing where that corridor would be deemed not very developable and that sort of thing. So I'm wondering if there's been any thought to partnering with them? Because didn't you guys run into this at one point, wanting to put the array on the old landfill, and there was an issue, as I recall. This is, I
Yes.
think, before my time. So
Yep.
anyway, I'm just wondering if that's sort of an issue that we should be thinking about working with them prior to or in parallel.
I think that's an excellent thought. And I'd like to add that to our discussion in the solar group, to maybe ask for a place. I'd like to talk it over with the solar group first and decide exactly how we want to do this, but I would be very much willing to request a slot on the Conservation Commission to discuss with them.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think that would be a great idea. I'd also like to, we call it the solar group, but in a way it's kind of a renewables group. And so whether to talk with the Conservation Commission, whether there would be any, I think I know the answer to this before I even say it, but any receptivity to any kind of wind installations. Oh, I suppose
Okay.
if they were, little spinning things that looked like they were on some Dorothy from Kansas kind of proposition, they might be willing to go along with it as adequately quaint. But nonetheless, we could discuss that with them. But I would like to talk about this in some detail with the solar group and
Yeah.
get a more detailed insight into how we want to structure this program now, to do this. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah. No, I do. Like I said, it was just I was thinking of more of a time savings
No,
effort
I
savings
think
for
it's an
your
ex.
group.
Yep,
Just so you don't go down the road and then run into some roadblock
yep.
down the road.
I think it's a great suggestion. I'm sorry I didn't think of it myself, but I'm always open to somebody having great ideas. I hope it's appearing in the minutes that I cannot see.
Yes, I'll put that in the minutes.
Right, and we will discuss it in the solar group. So, in addition to that, Steve said he thought there could be some significant room to look at kind of rooftop backyard installations. Although I guess there are some issues now with getting backyard hookups for some reason that I don't even pretend to understand. Backyard hookups are not the same as rooftop hookups or something. But again, this is something that I would like to discuss with the solar group. Steve suggested we should probably at least try to find out who in God's name has got one of these things in Underhill. It's apparently getting to be very difficult to identify who has got solar installations anymore. We don't have a good current layout of that, so it seemed like a good opportunity, a good thing to do while we were working on that. And I would think I would consider it my job to schedule the solar group to talk that over, if that sounds like a reasonable approach to folks.
Sounds good.
Robbie's shaking his head yes, and since he's the only other solar group here, we'll go with it. So, okay, I don't think we need a vote or anything on that. So we can go with that. So that said, there's also the next item in this sequence is the town hall solar. It's been my job to get a hold of Brad. I have not succeeded. I did call him, but I just called him, so he has not called me back, and I have not got any further answers on that. I will continue to pursue it, is all I can say at this point. I don't know where things stand. I'm beginning to feel a little disheartened that this may fall apart, although, as we have recognized, it has become more symbolic than highly functional at this point. So I think the symbolism would still be very nice, but I wouldn't consider it a catastrophic loss for our energy effort in Underhill. So I will consider to pursue that.
Michael, does it make
Any
sense for me to reach out to Tom Moore to see where things stand?
That would be great, Robbie. I think Tom or no, I've avoided trying to go to Seth directly since he's been supposedly interacting with Brad, and but maybe I should touch base with him too. Seth has usually been harder to get a hold of than Brad, rather than easier. So But
I'll reach out to
but
Tom and see if we
that
can
would be great. Yeah, yeah,
get ourselves interjected in the conversation.
yeah. That sounds great. And since you're solar group guy anyway, go for it. Let's go. Okay, we'll pursue that. Thanks, Robbie. Weatherization would be up next, but without Dwight here, I don't think we can do a whole lot about it. John, I don't know if you've got anything you'd like to say
Um,
about that at this point.
no, there hasn't been any. I think where we are is, as Dwight mentioned, he is a bit overcommitted at this point, and I'm just still waiting for him to get some free days so we can schedule some more dates.
Yep. Okay, yeah, that sounds good. And I think when the weather begins to turn cooler, we'll have some interest, and the IR camera will be more working, and
Yep.
a whole bunch of stuff could be helpful on that. So, any other questions or discussion about our weatherization activities? Nope. Okay, moving right along. Next item up, talking about education and outreach activities. It is now 5:55. I'm going to pull an audible. I've got Lori up here first. I'm going to postpone that until hopefully she arrives. She said she might be able to arrive by 6. She is working, so she would come back on that. Robbie, you seem to be looking like you want to say something.
Yeah, I just was wondering, can I talk briefly about MERP just so I think you, me, and Jerry
Yeah,
are
we
aware?
want to move that up front. That would be great. I was going to sort of put it in, and we have a couple of items at the back that
Okay.
are no longer going to be there, but move it right up. That would be great. Let's have Merp.
Yeah, okay, just a quick update. So
Yeah, yeah, thanks.
Jerry has volunteered his time. He will meet with Du Bois and King, the auditors, next week
Wednesday.
on the 17th. Jerry, I believe the date is, right?
Wednesday,
Yeah,
whatever that
Wednesday,
is.
Wednesday the 17th, and they'll be looking at the town hall and town garage. So that's happening.
And
That's it.
So
what do we get out of this, Robbie? And where do we go from here with the information that we get?
So my understanding is they will give us an audit report of each facility with recommendations for upgrades. And I forget how much the grant is per town, but there's a significant chunk of change there that we can use to implement some of these recommendations. So we'll see what they have to say.
Sounds good. So we feel like we're going to have money sitting there to spend on making improvements.
Yep.
Good.
So sorry, everyone, I fell behind. So actually, can someone just tell me what MERP is an acronym for, so I can just spell it out there in the minutes?
It is the Municipal Energy Resilience
Zillion.
Program. Yeah, Resilience Program.
Yeah,
Okay.
that sounds like the current buzzword of the day.
All right. Energy, and so then and Ravi, you said Jerry is going to. Sorry, I was typing up the last stuff and I missed what you
Oh,
said.
no worries. No worries. Yeah, so we've
Yeah,
scheduled the date of Wednesday the 17th with Du Bois and King, John. They are the auditors for this program.
Okay.
They're going to meet Jerry at Town Hall and Town Garage and do a walkthrough or an audit of each facility.
Gotcha. Thank you.
And then we will have some money to spend on implementing. Now, I assume that the MERP program anticipates and potentially requires that spending the money is for one or more of the items that were specifically identified as part of the audit. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And
Okay,
I'm not
yeah.
even sure if we're beholden to those recommendations specifically. We might be able to come up with our own ideas, but I'm sure Du Bois and King's recommendations will be on par with what we might be thinking anyways. So we'll see what they have to say.
Yeah, and certainly, I imagine they would be worthwhile, even if we could potentially think of something better.
Exactly,
Uh,
exactly.
there'd be something worthwhile to do out of the piece. I'm sorry that one of them won't be a ground source heat pump, but
You never know. You never know.
I suppose I do never know, but nonetheless. So, okay, that said, we can move on to the next item, which is our event is the next thing coming up. This is kind of important. We need to nail down a date for this. Um, Dwight has gotten in touch with Vermont Gas, VGS. I guess he sent around an email on that. I don't know if everyone's had a chance to see it. They said if we can nail down a date, they are willing to participate in that with us. So we need to nail down a date. Robbie, you were going to touch check with GMP.
Yep,
Michael, yep,
GMP's in. We just need to give them a date.
gotta get a date. My responsibility to talk to Drive Electric Vermont. I have emailed Dave. I have not heard back. I would be surprised if they would not participate. I feel confident about that. I have not, like I said, I haven't gotten a response. Summer being what summer is, and I haven't spent a lot of time banging on the door. So the things I think we need to address are one, what sort of program we might want to have besides just stacking up vehicles and people looking at them and handing out literature and people talking to people. Those are good, very good things to do. Two, we had talked about having a food truck there. I still think it's a great idea. I don't know if Dwight's email went out to everyone or just to me, but I guess that Mike Fulham has sold his food truck. I noticed that it isn't operating on Friday nights anymore. At least it wasn't the last Friday night, and is not available to do that. So I don't know if we want to try to pursue this, and if so, how. And probably first and foremost, or last and final, we need a date, an attractive date that we like for this. So I'll open it for discussion.
I mean, I think the date is first and foremost, like you said, right?
Yeah, we definitely got to have a date, and
The next,
maybe even one or two.
the next energy committee is August
14th.
14th. So we should definitely do it after that, so we at least have one more meeting to.
Finalize things.
Yeah, wouldn't you think?
It makes sense to me. Let me just see if I've got any upcoming conflicts for anything. Let's see. Uh,
And I'm sure
yeah.
this is, yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead, John.
Well,
I'm just
I
muttering.
was going to say, I'm sure this has been discussed before, but what about uh, doing it in concert with the harvest market? Um,
Yes, we have discussed doing it in concert with Harvest Market. In general, apparently, and this is people who have had experience trying to do this stuff before, is that Harvest Market is really a lousy kind of situation for an educational kind of thing. I mean, people are kind of out there with the family. They're on the way
yeah,
to, eat fried dough and buy tchotchkes and, visit with friends and then et cetera, et cetera. They're not in the mood to sort of sit around and, ooh and ah over electric vehicles and,
yeah,
learn about that sort of thing. So I think, and I thought, and I still do think that if we could come up with something. At one point, we talked about possibly doing some kind of an e-bike situation where the bikes themselves could be used to like ferry
right.
people between parking or something like that. And I still think that if we could pull that together, it could be that or something like it could be a useful activity because that would dovetail entirely with people's other activities with respect to Harvest Market and it would make the thing very real. But to try to apparently everybody who's tried to do stuff like this around Harvest Market have felt like people just their heads aren't there. They're
Right. They're
not
just too
interested.
distracted, right?
Yeah, too distracted. Got something else on their minds. Apple bobbing contests, or I don't know what they're planning to do.
Yeah.
What's on their minds, and it's often a family thing and an outing kind of thing. It's not a go learn about EVs and get educated. It's
Right.
so the short answer is that probably that's not a great idea.
Yeah. Well, I'll throw it. one more. I mean, I guess my feeling about this, and I totally see what you're saying, but the flip side is anytime you can lower the barrier for someone to like literally get out of their house and go drive somewhere to do something, I feel like is in around here is going to be helpful. So if we could plan it with something else that people are already usually going to, and the thing that comes to mind is the other one that we've done is the farmers markets. You know, I mean, a
Right.
lot of people are planning to go to those anyway, and if we could do something, I guess I'm not sure where this would occur, but if we could do something near or adjacent, I just wonder if that would like generate more traffic. Like people are already out, they go to the
Mhm.
farmers market and they're going to drive right past this event anyway, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. We usually do
Um,
it at Browns River, John, so it's right next to the farmers market.
yeah.
I think that
So
that
anyway,
might be.
I'm just throwing that out there. Just if that's something to help us narrow down dates, I'm not sure. Maybe that would actually be the same exact thing, Michael, as the harvest market. That you know.
I don't think it's the same exact thing, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's some similarity in the
Right. Right.
response. When I'm planning to go to the farmers market, that's an event in its own right. So to go to some other adjacent event,
Right. Might
um,
be too
I,
much.
yeah, it just feels like doesn't feel good to me
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
I hear you certainly. I think actually we have had pretty good luck with getting people in for this.
Okay.
A lot of people have come. Probably we've 50 or 60 people have gone through, and we've had I don't know a dozen or more EVs. I can add one this year um, for people to ooh and ah over and talk to owners and if people are willing to or want to give people test drives, they can. Usually, our GMP or somebody brings something pretty fancy, like one of those fancy trucks or something, and there can be something along those lines. If we can get some food in there, I think that could be great. I think that trying to spring for music would be beyond our capabilities and et cetera at this particular point. But anything that adds to the overall festivities, we had talked a bit about moving toward additional events, and I guess that's one of the things I'd like to talk about. Whether we want to have like little booths that deal with things, energy things, like for example, we could set up the um, Underhill uh, canopy and do like an EV display. I mean, PV display or something like that, or home PV or something along those lines, or power tools or something. So um, we could kind of expand the energy kind of quality that way by still having the EVs as the focus of the event. And I'd like to get people's thoughts on that. And of course, the date. My guess is, I mean, I've got a lot of stuff coming up for some reason. The last week in August for me is looking kind of nasty. So the next to the last week, the week of the 19th through the 25th, or the 18th through the 24th, depending on how you count, um, probably would work best for me.
I'm just thinking that's not a lot of time, Michael. That's
No, it's
four
not.
weeks out, 5 weeks out. What about September? Is September an option?
I think I'm not absolutely sure. I think we tried to get in before school started per se, because of course the parking lots and everything get filled with school activities. We've always tried to do it
Okay.
prior to school getting started.
Well, if we're thinking
Um,
end of August, I think it's a
the
heavy
last,
lift to think about multiple boosts and multiple technologies. I'm all for it if it can happen. But as soon as you said week of August 18th, I'm like, wow, we don't have much time.
No, we wouldn't have much time at all. And, I do have like, I think the 29th available. What have I got?
That would be the same day as the farmer's market. I don't know if that's an issue.
Um, well, it could be. That Thursday is, where's my glasses here we go, that can read this stuff. Um, oh yeah, I can't do anything. I'm having cataract surgery that week. So that could slow me down considerably. That's on the 27th.
Surgery's on the 27th.
So, possibly, what about the 30th?
Well, that's the week before Labor Day.
Yeah,
Friday of Labor Day weekend. I don't think many people will be around, right? Or
no, I don't know that would be a great option either.
Is a weekend out? I'm just,
yeah,
Well, I think we've,
talked with Green Mountain Power in the past, John, and they've seemed to think that, or they've had the most success with weekday events.
oh, really? Okay. All right.
Yeah, for whatever reason. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that I have no reason to
kind of
doubt.
late afternoon, I think.
Well,
Well, what about
Michael,
the 23rd?
23rd. I can't do the 23rd. I'm not sure if Friday is a good option, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I would think a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday would be good.
Well, the Thursday puts us opposite the farmer's market.
All right, so we're looking at a Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah,
So that would be the 20th or the 21st.
I can't do those days. I don't have to be there.
No, but not having you there is a definite minus.
Can we contact the school to see if a day in September might work?
We possibly can. I could go ahead and do that. Now the problem is, well, what we could do is we could put it up on our scheduling thing, that the spreadsheet, the scheduling spreadsheet thing that we talk about. And but I ought to get the ranges of things that we're talking about. I would assume not the first week, since that's Labor Day.
Yeah.
So
About the
that would
10th,
be the week.
the
What? Yeah,
10th.
maybe the 10th.
Yeah, the 10th or the 17th. I would throw those dates out there.
Okay, let me see what I can find out.
I'm just trying to see what the first day of school is. But,
Now that would be useful to know.
um, I can't seem to find it. Well, let's see. I can tell you what it was last year. It
What was it?
was, um, let's see, this is preschool.
August 27th or 26th?
Yeah, August 30th was the first day. That's a
Okay,
Wednesday. Was the first day last year.
August
so
26th
likely it's
this year. August 26th.
Okay.
okay. That was my guess. So they're started by then. So anything after that is going to be up against school somehow.
Well, it sounds like we can't before the 26th. It sounds like it's tight for
Right.
everybody.
I mean, after September 11th, oh God, there's an auspicious day. After September 11th, if we went to the 17th, we'd have an extra UE's Energy Committee meeting if we wanted it. And it's still 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks ahead of the harvest market.
What was that date again, Michael?
September 17th.
Yeah, I like
Our
that date.
September meeting is the 11th. So why don't we shoot for the 17th? 10th is a fallback. God only knows what we're going to do if we can't do that.
Okay.
Kathy McMain said that I guess their energy group, the Energy Task Force, is kind of temporarily at least unraveling a little bit. They've lost a member or two and had a few people not so active or whatever. So, and they're very busy with a lot of things over there. They've got a lot of staff turnover, and so it's a little difficult for them. So she said they're not expecting major participation themselves, although some. But she said she would handle the school discussions for us because she has in the past. So I will get in touch with her and ask that we can pursue that. Does that sound reasonable?
That sounds great. I'll throw out one other idea. I just noticed, again, this is last year's calendar, but there are at least 2 days in the first couple of weeks where there was early dismissal because of a staff professional development day. So,
Oh yeah, that's a great idea, John.
yeah,
So
I
so
was
maybe
wondering
we
about.
can just grab one
um
of
so,
those days.
so that would be September 11th, Michael.
Okay, that would be our energy committee date, but I think it would be all right, and we could either swap that date or do something if we needed it.
And
Nothing
then
says we have to.
if we really want to go push it out, October 9th would be the other early release day. Would be the next one.
Yeah, I would suggest October. People are beginning to have, I mean, it could be quite chilly by then. I mean, it's
I
hard to
agree.
believe that,
I agree.
people standing around in the field. So, 11th would also be a possibility. I'll put that on maybe we can put that, John, could you add that to our minutes or something?
Or possibility for September 11th. So,
Right.
so yep.
That might be ideal, in fact. That might be the best date, and we could adjust our meeting. We could decide whether we wanted to try to get a sneak in a meeting ahead of that, to do any prep, or just call that our meeting for crying out loud. It's a lot of, there's a fair amount of work and activity to pull something like that off. And we could say everybody show up, and maybe we could have a little meeting on the side. Everybody bring a cup of tea or something, and call it a tea and crumpets meeting. Good. We got something on that. So we're looking at those September dates anyway, with probably a preference for the 11th, and we'll see what we can pull together. Now, for program, maybe we can get something. I would say that, just if UEC can pull together something in our little canopy to carry stuff forward. Before, remember, we had that library thing where Dave, I'll ask him if he wants to bring more along that line up and do something like that. And I think that was very popular and helpful for people. But if we just want to put something up in our canopy, tools or whatever appeals, I think that would be a nice addition to that. And so the only remaining question is, well, the question, does that sound like a reasonable thought?
Yeah, I don't think that can hurt, Michael. And that's an
Okay.
easy thing to do. So I think we could accomplish that pretty easily.
Yeah, it's basically a repeat of what we do at the farmers market. It was, just sort of set up a farmers market display and, do some stuff like that. So I don't think it needs to be a big, huge deal. Okay. The other question is food. Any thoughts?
I wouldn't know where to begin there. That's out of my
I
expertise.
think, you know, maybe I'll volunteer Dwight and myself to sort of start just asking around. Mike Fulham was the only one I knew offhand, but I'm sure if we just start asking people, actually, maybe we can contact Anton and see what other people show up at the food trucks, and maybe
Yeah,
get there on Friday night, on those Friday night food truck nights,
that's a
and
good
get their
idea.
Yep.
contact information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
We'll
I
So
find out.
will, in
Go ahead.
parallel to that, John, maybe I'll ask GMP how many people they might be able to get to come to the event. And at least you can throw some numbers at these potential food trucks if they ask you for that information.
Well, well, for one thing, we know what our past.
True.
I mean, I
True.
don't. Well, I think we've had at least 30 and possibly 50 people show up, over the course of the event.
Yeah. The first year we had
Um,
60, definitely. The first year was a lot of people.
yeah.
Yeah.
but food is an attraction in its own right.
Sure.
So, people could plan to come to that or something. And so I will also check with Dave as to whether he wants to do some kind of a chalk talk. If he does, then we can try to set that up. If not, we'll just assume that whatever events occur kind of in the, on the midway is what we've got this year. That sounds reasonable. Possibly including food and jugglers and performing elephants. Okay. Any other thoughts on this guy? I think we've got quite a bit on our plate here and some actual assignments. As far as I know, my only assignment here is to get in touch with Kathy. Oh, and Dave also to sort that out. So I've got 2 coming out of this.
So, Michael, I
So,
think the critical one is getting approval from Browns River, and then Dwight can
right.
contact BGS, and I can contact GMP, and
Yes.
we can
I will
start
get on.
putting.
I will get on that either later tonight or, well, tomorrow is
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's turning
And
a
sorry
little
again,
long.
sorry, Michael. Kathy McMains is the one who will be negotiating or doing this with the schools.
Right. She contacted the schools the past couple of times,
Okay.
and she said she would do it again.
Okay.
I did get in touch with her about that. Okay, we got anything more on this? Can we let it go? Okay, Jericho Farmers Market. We have another event coming up in a little over a week. We have a brand spanking new banner that Ravi has acquired for us. Thank you again, Ravi, for doing all that. And also, we'll have to make arrangements about the tent. Jerry, do you think you might be able to bring that over? Are you planning to come? I mean, you've always done it in the past, but I shouldn't assume that you would do it again in the future.
I'm lost.
Okay, I was just asking. We will be going to the farmers market again in a little over a week on the 18th. Currently, Ravi has our tent and table and a couple of chairs. And so what I was asking is if A, you were planning to come, and B, if you were, if you would mind, throwing those in the back of your truck and hauling them over so we can set them up.
Yep. I'll be there.
Okay, that's great. And you'll be able to do that. And bring your electric chainsaw.
Okay.
Well, I guess that's going to be the next piece to discuss on this, or another piece to discuss on this. We had talked about displays and activities. Graham had said he was going to get in touch with Jerry Hill. I haven't heard anything about that. I thought we could ask him about it tonight. I'm guessing we don't have a lot of stuff lined up other than what we had before. If it's a sunny day, we can have our little, solar water fountain. That's always been a nice attraction. Um, I am reluctant to say anything about the big red door since Dwight is not here, and I know he's definitely up to his earlobes. This may be another lower key piece. I could put out a call for people to bring, um, you know, electric shovels and rakes. And I mean, last time we did get a fair amount of people wanting to stop and talk about electric lawn care tools and that sort of thing. And so I think that was very much a positive sort of piece associated with that. If people could just bring their easily transportable bits and we can set them out and go with something like that, that would be great. That may be all
Okay.
we've got at this point.
Yeah, that's fine. I can bring my
Our,
stuff.
yep, our presents and a few tools and a little water fountain if the sun is out, and maybe a few handouts, things that we could put out for something like that. So that sounds all right. Okay, and Jerry will bring it over, and I will plan to meet. I guess I'm going to be there next week. I'm planning on it, so I will plan to get there 2:30ish to help set up and get things moving, if that sounds reasonable. Okay.
Michael, if you can let
Yes.
me share my screen, I can show John and Jerry this fancy logo you created.
Oh, sure. Let me see if I can figure out how to do that. I think this one is where's it's maybe under the people. No, it doesn't seem to be under people. Trying to remember now. Oh, share. It says share screen, but it's not me, so I have to enable you to share somehow. And I thought that was under the people thing,
That's the
but under
organized
the
view. Let's see.
hide everyone, active cameras. No, the people one. Okay, people. Now let's see, Ravi. How about make presenter?
Sweet.
Yes, you should be the presenter now, Ravi.
Okay, so let's see. I want to
So this is what
share.
Ravi and I did in a flurry of activity one Tuesday morning or something.
Let's see. Why is it not sharing? Window. How about that? Share. Can you guys see that?
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, it's on a big green table drape that'll go over our table, and the company that we got the drape through actually converted this into a high res logo, so it looks really.
Oh,
I
great.
think, I think it came out really nicely.
Awesome.
That's what we done.
It's copyrighted.
Great, Ravi. I don't know. I may have stolen that logo as it is. I better not try. I just went on the internet. I tell you, I
Well,
was in a great big hurry. I went on the internet and got some
at
kind of a rising sun that I could turn into something and put some
least
words
it
on it,
wasn't the
and that was
sun
it.
rising over the Adirondacks, which I think I've seen a couple times in my lifetime in Vermont.
Yeah, well, you got to be on the other side, so that's good. So, okay, we're kind of at the end of this. Let's see, Lori never made it, so we can't talk about that stuff. I'm not sure what's going on with her. I better check in. She said she was planning to be here at 6, so maybe she got hung up. I will see. I don't know if her 6 o'clock business is permanent. If we, to get her involved, um, we need to change our schedule a bit or something. If we do need to do that, would people be open to discussing a change in schedule to accommodate her? I like getting off by 7 o'clock, but if we've got to do something as long as I can do it online, I don't necessarily mind. I can even,
I can definitely go later.
okay,
Earlier
yeah,
is going to be more of a problem for me.
yep,
Yeah.
no, I get that.
Yeah, same with John. I can do later if it will help accommodate other folks. So
Okay. Well, I will try to get in touch with Lori and make sure about her schedule and stuff like that because obviously she's haven't had a tough time getting here for the last few times. So we'll plan on that. So I had two other items on here. Jericho Joint Energy Task Force. I told you about what was going on with that. The electrification coach that Dwight was looking into. He's not here, so we can't really do that. I don't see any other thing up here that needs to be dealt with. So that said, have we covered everything we need to? Anybody want to have any other comments about our education and outreach program or anything like that at this point? Nope.
Let me.
Okay. That said, it is now 6:28, and hey, we're actually ahead of schedule, believe it or not. Member items. If anybody wants to bring up anything, this is your opportunity to do it. Okay, hearing none. We dealt with member items very neatly. Agenda items for the next meeting. I think just setting up for the on upcoming EV event. And I guess the only thing I would ask, and this is might be taking out of context a bit. When I signed us up, I didn't think of this when I wrote down what was going on with the farmers market. When I signed us up for the farmers market, what's her name there? Oh God, I can't. Elizabeth only gave me the opportunity to sign up for 2 slots. As of this coming the 18th, we will have used both of those slots. So we have nothing scheduled beyond that. The question is, should I pursue 1 or 2 additional slots, and or should we give it a rest? I mean, one thing we could do is if we're pursuing the EV event for September, we could conceivably pursue an August farmers market and let our September event be the EV event, or just not have one at all. Or we could go even a late September farmers market right before, for example, the harvest market. I think they usually have one in October and then ends, but I don't know for sure if that's going to be the case this year. But we have the opportunity for at least one, as many as 2 more if we want them. I'd like to hear any thoughts people have on that.
When we just bought this fancy new drape and canopy, I think we might as well use the stuff, right? I think August would be.
Okay.
I think throwing in August is not a bad idea.
Okay.
And
Any
then
other thoughts?
leave September to the EV event.
I mean,
Let me see what I can come up with. Yeah.
you
ahead,
three
John.
are you three are the ones who are staffing it. So I think, you're we're really looking at the people who I don't feel
Well,
like
but
my
that's
opinion
also
would matter so much.
it's also, if people think that this is not a worthwhile thing to be doing, whatever. I mean, I think that, yeah, I mean, Jerry and I have been, and Robbie's been very stalwart in all this lately, especially, and thank God for him showing up. But nonetheless, or thank Robbie for him showing up. But nonetheless, I think that we should be open to whether or not this is a productive use of our time and efforts and so on. So,
Yeah.
so
I mean,
anyway,
you're still getting
I
foot
will.
traffic?
Yeah, in fact, I think last time we got more than I expected, especially given our fairly very modest setup for this time we will be a little fancier with the um, with the new drape, and we will. Um, I think last time was actually they were predicting rain, although I don't think it did rain, but they had even been predicting it, so some people might have stayed away from the market for that. So I thought we had a fair number of people there, people looking into it. So.
Hmm. Well, I mean, it sounds, yeah. I mean, like I said, I can't speak to it's your time and effort. I mean, but if people are still coming, and I would think that that farmers market is attracting the same people over and over, right? So if you're still getting people coming to the booth, I mean, sounds like it is a good use of time. But
Mayhaps. Jerry, what do you think? You're another one of the stalwarts there.
I think it's worthwhile.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
Okay.
think we're hitting any home runs or anything, but we're definitely trending in that direction. So I think the more effort we put into
Okay, we'll go with
this,
it. I'll see what I can do. See if I can get us another date. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I won't be able to, but we'll see. That said, our agenda items are pretty well set. I think just doing these things. Anybody have any closing thoughts before everybody goes to dinner or whatever? Jerry, you've been uncharacteristically quiet. Is all well? And you got any thoughts you want to share with us here?
Nope.
A man of few words. We'll go with it. Okay.
I
That said,
motion
I've got,
to I motion to
yeah, go ahead.
adjourn.
Okay, that is not debatable. All in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Aye.
But
Okay. The motion is unanimous. We are adjourned.